Hello, Magdalena here, Wolf of Coins. Today I wanted to do some fun hashtag, and it's Tarot 11 by Maha's Treasure Box. Thank you for creating this hashtag, Maha. So yeah, I thought I will be showing you some pretty cards. Well, at least I like them, so you're not bored. And oh, by the way, I have this pretty stone here, and I got it like ages ago, and I have no clue what it was. If any of you would recognize this stone for me, I was thinking it might be lapis lazuli, but it's not really. I don't know, I'm not sure. It doesn't have those golden flecks in it. So yeah, if anyone could help me out what this beautiful stone might be, please let me know. So the first question is, and I will be just flipping through this deck. It's Polish Tarot by Aleksandra Jaśniak, and I believe the artwork is by Anna Gałuszka. So when and how did you first discover tarot? This is a very difficult question, to be honest, because I think I've known about tarot for quite a while, and I cannot put my finger on when and where I learned about it. So I love this devil. So yeah, I know that I've known about tarot, and there's a reason I'm showing this deck right now, because it was this deck I saw in a kiosk in Warsaw when I was walking with my grandpa. Yeah, I was walking a street in the center of Warsaw, and I think I was something like 12 years old, and I saw this huge black box with golden letters, and it had tarot written on it, and it was this deck. And then I said to Grandpa, please can we stop? I would like to buy something. And then I just felt like I have to have it. I must have known what tarot is already, but I don't know how I learned about it. And I just went there and bought it with my pocket money, you know. Grandpa actually wanted to pay for it, but I said no, I will just use my pocket money for it. So I bought this. And second question is, how long have you been working with tarot? So of course I started immediately when I was 12 or so with this deck. But as I mentioned in my previous videos, one thing was that I did not really get the connections between the minors. Well, I mean, I could not really connect the meaning from the guidebook with the picture. It seemed very hard. The descriptions were not enough for me to understand it. There was no really, I could not use internet back then. So I studied mostly the majors. And then I learned that Catholic Church does not approve of reading tarot, and I felt really bad about using the cards. You know, I was 12, easily influenced, you know, and yeah, and I just hid it. I felt like it was like I felt the love for the cards, but I felt scared that someone would accuse me of doing bad things. So it was like this guilty, not guilty pleasure, because I stopped using it, except for this St. Andrew's Eve, like playing with fortune-telling holiday that we have in Poland, when I felt like justified to use it. But Normally I would not use it, and it would be there in my room, just sitting there. So yeah, and so then I had a really long break, and when I reached the point in my life when I decided that I cannot be a Catholic anymore, instantly tarot called to me. It was like I was I was living together with my now husband, then fiance. So this deck stayed at my parents' place, and I felt like this call. It seems strange, but yeah, I just felt like this strong pull that I need the cards now. So on my first visit to my parents, I just took it with me. And then it started, and it was, I believe it was 2011. So, oh my gosh, already 7 years ago. And I started with this deck. Then I discovered that there is so much stuff on the internet and so much decks to be bought from online stores. So I really got sucked in. But then I think I had at least 1 year that I almost did not use tarot. It was like a tarot break. But then it came back again. So yeah, you can see that this deck is like old. It's like 20 years old. And I edged it in gold. Whee! I tried to fix the chipping here, but no pen that I found or ink could fix it really. It did not look good. So, well, I left it. It's just the mark of the... Oops! You're a smart guy. I love this hanged man. He's so smug. So yeah, I left it as a mark of the age of this deck. Yeah, do you consider yourself a deck collector? Oh my goodness, this is a great question. I have always done everything not to become one. It's my eternal struggle because, yeah, new decks, pretty, awesome, exciting. But I always had this thought that I should stop myself from buying decks that I would not use. So I always had this goal. This is pretty. Ace of Coins. So yeah, just a sip of tea. So yeah, basically I always tried not to buy too many decks, but I ended up buying a lot of decks. I did sell a few of them, but it's not really it's not really too much. And still, I don't feel like I want to collect decks. I try to restrain myself, but then at some point I'm like, this deck, I just need it. I just need it. I want it for like the sheer pleasure of having it, of looking through the cards, of sometimes reading with it, and that's it. So it depends. I'm trying my best not to become a collector, but yeah, life is life, you guys. Oh, do you cleanse your decks? So, oh, sorry. I think now I will switch to a different deck so that you're still entertained. I will be showing this gorgeous Shadowscapes Tarot in the Czech edition, which is larger than your regular edition. It's by the great Czech publisher Synergy. I believe they're called Synergy. Where's the box? Where is it? There's the box. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's their logo and name. So yeah, do you cleanse your deck? No, I never do that. Mostly because I think they are pretty pieces of cardboard with some paint on it, and they don't need me cleansing them. But because I think the whole magic is inside of me. So I more like cleanse myself in a way that I take some deep breaths. I sometimes usually I say a very, very short prayer, or I just call upon a god or goddess to guide me. I like to do my readings after my daily meditation. But yeah, with the cards, I just treat them as precious, pretty possessions, but I don't feel the need to do any cleansing. Then, what role does tarot play in your life? Well, first thing, it's a guide. It's a guide and a friend. Sometimes it's really like when I feel like I need someone to tell me what to do, then I would go to my cards and find some guidance and comfort, mostly. But I also use it as a tool to communicate with the higher beings, like with the spirit or the gods, however you call it. And it's a wonderful tool, I think. It's really, really great. So yeah, oh, so pretty. And it's very, yeah, the finish is very nice. This is one of the reasons I finally purchased Shadowscapes, is this edition. This is the only edition of Shadowscapes that I have. But anyway. Next question. Number 6. Do you use any system of correspondences with tarot? Well, I used to, when I was starting, I read a lot, various sources. And there were many things written about correspondences there. But right now, I came to a conclusion that it works for me best if tarot is just tarot. So, I think that when you have different systems and you want to put them together, you will inevitably lose something in a way that you will try to reshape one system to match the other, like with the example of Arthur Waite flipping justice and strength. I don't think I would like that. I mean, to happen, to lose some, to start to change the system I'm working on just to fit whatever other system I wanted to work with. And also, I feel like if I put too much other things on it, I stop seeing the cards themselves. So I am more like, because I took this course with Enrique Enriquez, I also read Camelia Elias's book, and I really feel like this is the way of reading I like. Basically, first thing is not the symbolic meaning, is not any correspondences, it's mostly what I see on the picture. So there's a lady playing a fiddle, and I pay attention to the colors, for example, with this deck. And it's not the first thing I look at is things around it. I try to focus on the image itself. But yeah, and it also has a lot to do with me reading Terra de Marsay, because it's not so heavily loaded with with esoteric tradition as for example Smith-Waite deck. So it helps me to just try and look really, really close at the cards. But I don't think it's I totally don't think it's a bad thing. If it feels good for you, then use it. Use any technique you enjoy. And yeah. This is so pretty. But yeah, that's what works for me. For me, I feel like I want to focus on tarot as tarot. Next up, what is the one deck that you feel most comfortable using no matter the situation? Well, it's a tough one actually at the moment because I'm having an affair with this deck. It's Pablo Robledo, Terra de Marsay. And anyone who's been watching my previous videos is not surprised at all at this moment. But yeah, this is a deck that really I feel comfy using. It's very inviting. But there's this another deck, and I will mention it again on my channel. It's the Jodorowsky Come Terra de Marsay Restoration. So these two, this one, as I mentioned before, I worked, I think the most hours I spent with this deck, and I feel very comfortable with it. As I said before, with this deck, I don't feel like traveling with this too much because it's not so easy to replace as this one. So when it comes to traveling, it would be this. But these days, for everyday use, it's this deck. Also because of the size. Look at that. It's slightly smaller, but it really fits my hands. So it's very easy to just take it and shuffle and enjoy it. Number 8. Other than for doing readings, do you use tarot in any other way? And since I did not finish showing you these cards, I will just continue. Yes, of course, I do use it as, well, mostly as visual inspiration thing. I put it somewhere on my desk / altar when I feel like I should be trying to put the energy of this card into my life at the moment, just like an inspiration for myself. And sometimes I use them also to mark what zodiac sign we have at the moment. And I just said, oh, I don't connect tarot to other systems. I mean, astrology is another system, but yeah, just some of them. Like, for example, right at the moment we have Aquarius, so I'm using this card because it's adorable. Well, not only because it's adorable, because I think about this card fits the Aquarius sign very well, but I'm using for other signs. I have some animal decks, so just to make it, just to mark the moment of the year that we have, I put it also on my desk. And then, do you read tarot for predicting the future? Well, not too much, but I do. And it's more in a way that sometimes, not always, but I do like month ahead reading, just to see the energies that will be present in that month for me. But more often it's like, if I do this and this, how it will affect the situation thing like this, or how will I feel if I go for doing that thing, something like that. Pretty. If you could be any card in tarot at this point in your life, which card would you be? So as I said in my previous video, I feel at the moment like him, like Knight of Coins. But the question is more about, is it? I'm not sure. whether if it's a card I would like to be or I feel like I am. So yeah, it's the Knight of Coins. I feel like being him. But very often for myself, I appear as her, Queen of Coins. I also wanted to show you Queen of Coins from Crystal Tarot. It's one of my most favorite tarot cards ever. She's just so perfect. I can't even. Really, I love her. So it's no wonder I feel compelled to, I feel like I'm coins because I'm an earth sign. I am a Taurus, and I often feel like I am her. And I appear in spreads as her, but sometimes I also appear as Queen of Cups. Especially when I read. It's not very often, but sometimes I do read for my husband, and then I appear as Queen of Cups. I find it very sweet. So yeah, but my ideal is this card. It's the Empress. Yeah, I would like to be like the Empress is. And I mentioned that in some previous videos as well, but this is one of my favorite Empresses with the green eyes from Jodorowsky, Come On. But I also love this one from Crystal Tarot. So yeah, the Empress, it's just, she knows who she is. Again, for so long I've been lost, and she is there firmly on her throne. She just knows her worth, and she knows what she's doing. I would love to be like that. So yeah. And lastly, which one card in tarot has been most difficult for you to connect with, and how have you finally become more comfortable with it? So yeah, again, I will talk about... Where are you? Here. The Pope. I think it's a pretty obvious choice for many tarot readers, because yeah, for many of us who were brought up Christian, it's the card reminding us of the teachings of the church that you should not use tarot. So it's hard to see this card. Sometimes it's hard to see this card in a positive way, and yeah, I think it will appear often in these videos of ours. Oops, sorry. But yeah, also for me, I left the church, so this card is still pretty difficult for me. I'm working on getting more comfortable with it. I think it's a long path still, but yeah, I must tell you, not so long ago, I had a reading by the wonderful, amazing Kellyanne Maddox, and actually the Pope appeared. And the way she described this card was just so amazing. I was delighted. She really connected this card more, well, yeah, to my spiritual path. And as some of you know, it's Slavic paganism. So it doesn't have to be Christian, right? But yeah, that's the most obvious thing that comes to mind when you see this card. But yeah, right now I am connecting this card just to spiritual practice and yeah, things of faith. But yeah, there's still some work to be done. Again, if anyone can tell me about this stone, I will be so grateful, because it's gorgeous, but I just don't know what stone this could be. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see also your answers to this. Thank you, bye!